What's up, my friends? Welcome back. brodienero.tv exclusively on YouTube. About to get into a sick interview. Today's guest is a special one. It's the first billionaire in streams. So when we say billionaire in streams, we mean, and I don't mean like across his whole catalog. I'm talking one record, Breaking Me, a hit song, has over 1 billion streams. It's nuts. I'm here with the one and only DJ producer, Topic. How are you, bro?
Very good. How are you, my bro?
Yeah, amazing, man. I mean, couldn't be better. We're here in Bali, Indonesia. It's actually my first time here at the Istana. Absolutely stunning location. It feels like we're on the edge of the world. Barefoot, Bali vibes. Couldn't be better.
Definitely. I love coming here.
Yeah.
I've been here in October last year for like 2 weeks just to relax and log off and go offline a little bit. It's very good. Yeah.
Bali's the best for that,
Yeah.
honestly. Before we get started and go deep into the interview, I want to start off on a positive note. So we got a gift here for you.
Wow.
So I have a sponsor for the podcast called Kenny Parker. As I was telling you earlier, it's an amazing clothing brand that's originally from Australia, but they set up a boutique shop here in Canggu within the last year or two. And I'm rocking one of their distressed tank tops. They heard you're coming through, so they wanted to hook you up.
Thank you.
If you want to pull it out, check it out.
Yeah, man.
So this is a new piece that actually hasn't even hit the shelves yet. It's a beautiful oversized tee, nice
love
lilac
that.
color,
Looks like a good.
awesome
Good
patch
fit.
on the background.
Love
Yeah,
that.
you know how DJs do oversized plain t-shirts.
That's true. I also need more color. I'm wearing mostly black or white. So
Oh man, like
it's a good one.
every electronic music DJ.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
Wanna check
shout out
that?
Kenny Parker. Appreciate you guys. Nice. So, bro, actually, I want to tell a story about how we met because it's kind of crazy. So, every single week in Bali, in a place called Miss Fish, I have an event called She's With Us. It's a party that happens every Tuesday. I've been doing it for just over 2 years now. And we're in the DJ booth, and I Adore You is playing.
True. That's
And this guy, who I don't know who he is, comes in the DJ booth and he's jumping around. And Sarabi, I think it was Sarabi or myself that was DJing, was like, "Hey, who's this guy in the booth with us?" Because the booth is pretty small.
yeah.
And I'm like, "I don't know," but like we're vibing. And she's like, "Yeah, it's just a bit tight. Like let's make some space." I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "Yo, bro, like the booth is kind of small. I got to get you to leave." And you're like, "Yo, this is my song though." And I was like, yeah, it's everybody's song. Everybody knows I Adore You. And I was like, "Yo, bro, I'm sorry, but like we just got to make some space." And then you left the DJ booth, and Rami, who's the owner of Techno and Chill, the Instagram page,
Yeah.
he's like, "Yo, did that guy say that this is his song?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "But everybody says it's their song." He's like, "Wait a second." So he Googles like everybody that's on the song. He's like, "Yo, that's friggin' Topic." And I was like, "Oh shit." So then I end up going, I say, "Yo, what's up, man? My bad." We figure out who Topic is. Long
Yeah.
story short, here we are shooting a podcast, building a friendship, working together. It's super cool.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
It
Life's
was a funny
life,
evening.
life is crazy like that. And I always say it's like Bali magic, bringing cool people together.
Yeah,
It's a funny story to
sure.
always remember. Bro, so let's get into it. So speaking about 1 billion streams, your hit song that came out about 5-6 years ago, Breaking Me. I mean, again, like when we say 1 billion streams, it's not, his whole catalog together. It's one single song. And for me, it's not a common thing to happen for a lot of artists. And also, it's not like the song has been out for decades. It's like 5-6 years ago maximum.
Mhm.
So I was curious, bro, like to achieve 1 billion streams, what goes into a project to hit those kind of numbers? And like, it's not like close to 1 billion. It's like 1.1, maybe 1.2. Like it's still growing,
true.
bro. Yeah. So
1.2
like,
or something
what
like
goes into making a project become that successful?
To be honest, if I would know the secret ingredients, like I would have 5 songs or 10 songs, which have like 1 billion streams. It's really something you can't plan, especially these days. I think Breaking Me, like it went so viral on TikTok back then when TikTok was not as big as it is now.
Yeah.
And it was also during the pandemic.
Ah.
And I don't know what was the secret ingredient there. I think like the first one, which is like the most important one, is just like have a good song, like have a good melody, have like good lyrics in it and everything, a good voice, good production, all that obviously have to be there.
Yeah.
But then that it goes that viral, I think you cannot plan it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Actually, now that I think about it, I swear it's a pretty common thing. When you speak to artists and ask them what goes into making a hit, the common answer is like, we had no idea the song was going to be
Yeah.
this big. Because if you go in saying you want to make a hit, I've heard too from producers, and even I've experienced with myself with my own production, if I go in saying I need to make a bang or I need to make a platinum selling record, like you put too much pressure on yourself, you move away from the art and the passion that's driving you anyway. Would you agree it's a similar thing?
Yeah, it's tricky. Like, I would say, like, I'm doing like songwriting sessions and stuff like that since 10, 15 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And I had songs which has done well, that went like super fast in the studio, and you just went in like without any plan, and you were just vibing around, and then you have a good song which is also doing well.
Yeah.
But then we also had songs that were so hard like to finish and everything, that took like ages. Then you think like, okay, this song was like too hard to finish, and you were overthinking it, and it still has done well. So again, there's also like no like secret ingredient or like
No formula. Yeah.
to do it. It's just like, it's always like a black box in a way.
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
do a
it's
song.
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard so many different stories where it's like people say, "Oh, we went in, we made this song in 20 minutes, it's a hit."
Yeah.
Then I have a guest on a short little while ago, Amin K, and he was saying that he's been trying to remix a record and hasn't felt confident about it for over 5 years. And then just 3 weeks ago, he went in the studio, sat with it, and the remix finally came out. And it's performing well. And I was like, wow, it's super subjective. Every piece of art is unique. Like it's
Exactly.
art and it's organic and it has to stay that way.
I think my second best streaming song is You Love 9 p.m.
Yeah, we were just listening on the car ride up here.
Oh, nice.
Crazy.
I think that's I would say the song where everyone knew it's gonna be a hit. Like,
no way.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was also insanely fast in the studio. Like, I remember, like, it was a sample from the 90s from ATB. It's his track 9 p.m., which he never touched since 1996 or 7 when it came out.
Wow.
And then he asked me if I want to do like a new mix with it in 2020 it was, also together with A7S, the singer of Breaking Me.
Yes.
And then I just like did a quick instrumental and said like, okay, here are like a little bit my sounds and my production. And the arrangement I did back then was already the final arrangement, like even without vocals and stuff. I just thought in my head, okay, this is verse, pre, chorus, and drop, and we never changed it. And then A7S back then was the pandemic, so we couldn't meet in the studio. I was just on Zoom with him, and he was just doing like a few freestyle melodies. Then we puzzled it together, and then he wrote the lyrics, and the song was done. So
another hit.
Yeah, and that was crazy, because no matter who I showed the song, like friends, industry people, everyone said like, okay, this is gonna be a hit. And
captures you right away. As
Yeah,
soon as we turned on the car today, we were just into it.
Yeah. But I had a few more of these songs where
a few
I saw
more
like,
at least.
a few more of these where I saw like, this is gonna be a hit.
Oh,
and
I
then
see.
They did nothing.
Interesting. Like we said, black box.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah, cool. One more question I had about Breaking Me, bro. I'm super curious. So I think I saw like recent remixes for Breaking Me. And I wondered, like, maybe you've experienced this too, where it's like sometimes you work on a song for so long, and when it finally gets released, you're ready to just like be done with it and move on to the next project, even though it's something new to the public. You as a creative, you're almost like, for lack of better terms, like a bit sick of it. But I was curious, like the intention of doing a remix for Breaking Me at this time. I wondered, because you had such a big year last year with I Adore You, was there like a thought process to maybe, because this is such a big record, bring some more attention to it to keep it growing and not let it kind of fall behind the hits in the catalog? What was the intention for doing like a new remix for it at this time?
So the intention for it was because Breaking Me is more like I would say like radio dance record.
Yeah.
And I Adore You was more on the afro house genre, I would say.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I cannot play Breaking Me in my current set because I'm changing it a little bit. And then I felt like it's such a good song and like my most streamed song. And then I felt like, okay, let's give it a new touch so I can play it in my DJ sets. And
got you.
then like my first idea was to not release it actually, and to just play it in my sets. And then I played it a couple of times and it worked very well. And then we felt like, okay, it's December 2024, the song is going to be 5 years old, let's just make a anniversary thing and just release it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Does this often happen for you where you want to make it IDs that have exclusive for performances only, and then the crowd receives them so well that you're like, bro, it's like certified, we got to put this out now? Do you ever experience that?
Yeah, because
outside of this remix?
Like even like prior to Aedorio, and when I went more into the like less EDM sets that I played, like in 2022 and 23, I played kind of like hard and festival sound.
Yeah.
Then I also didn't play the radio version of Breaking Me. Then I always like did mashups and stuff like that. And I had one mashup which went really, really well, but I couldn't release it because I put in Opus by Eric Prydz, and he never says yes to stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Speaking about now accolades, I mean, I did a whole bunch of due diligence getting ready for the interview, and there was something in your bio that like I had to read it like 10 times so I could try and say it on the podcast, because it was like your records have gone gold, double diamond, platinum, double something else, and then a word I don't even know what it means, like decouple platinum. I think it means like 5x or 10x platinum, something like this.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
actually.
and I was like, bro, like this guy's stats are insane. And I want to delve now a little bit into like origin story and entry point into music. I try not to have super cliche interviews, as I was telling you, where it's like, tell me your story and your upbringing. But when an artist has this magnitude of success, I want to understand the chronological order, or like the sequence, or in simple terms, the pathway to achieving this level of success. So if you could tell us a bit about your origin story and entry point into music. I understand that you grew up in a smaller town. It starts with an S, outside of
Solingen.
outside of Dusseldorf. And music was a part-time kind of like a hobby for you. If you could tell us a bit about your entry point into music.
Yeah. So my background is like my parents or family, they are not into music at all. So I didn't play any instruments. And I was just like, when I was a teenager, I was into sports, playing basketball, football. I love driving go-karts, and my mind was not at all in music. And then when I got into high school in grade 9 or 10, our music teacher back then had this idea of, okay, like you have to bring your laptop to the class. He installed us Logic on it, like
this
music
is
production
school.
tool. Yeah, that's at school.
Wow, crazy.
And I thought, okay, it's better than learn about Mozart, and okay, it's gonna be a cool half year in music just chilling on a laptop. And then I actually just like started playing around with it, and I had a lot of fun with it. And soon I was just not playing PlayStation anymore, and in my free time just being on a laptop and trying to figure out everything about Logic. And then with 15, 16, I was not into dance music, but I was into hip-hop music. So I just started making hip-hop beats in my first years. And Germany, Solingen back then had a big rap scene, like local rappers. And then I built like a little home studio and invited all of these rappers to come to my studio. And so I would make beats for them, record them, and just like learn everything about vocal production, mixing, mastering, production.
And you were just self-motivated in your own curiosity and desire to get more serious and learn about it. Nice. There was also something else I read about, some sort of like influential YouTuber or something like that approached you. And this connection or this collaboration is what helped launch more of like a next level of success. Maybe it was a bigger release or signing a record. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so I was then doing music for, I would say, 5 years. So 2007 is when I learned it in school. And in 2012, there was a big YouTuber in my city who approached me and asked yeah, I know you had the studio. Do you still have it? Because I want to do an album with a friend of mine. And then yeah, we met and I produced the whole album. They recorded it at my place, and that was the first time I made money with music. And you know, for 5 years I was just like, okay, it's just a hobby and it's just fun. And then I was finally like, okay, there's actually a way to make money with music.
So
And
sorry, this is like your first job, essentially, where you're
Yeah.
earning money.
basically that's my first
Wow.
job.
That's a cool first job, bro.
Yeah.
Not like a lot of people's stories that are
Yeah,
up
yeah.
and coming from the industry and everything.
I mean, I had a job, like a office job at that time.
I see. I
but
see.
It was the first time I made money with music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And from then on, I was just like getting more attention in the YouTube space. And back then, a lot of YouTubers were trying to rap or
Yeah.
like sing. And then I produced just like a bunch of them and made a little name in that scene.
Yeah.
And then at some point, a friend of mine, we were just like partying, and I don't know who had the idea, but it was just like we were standing in front of the DJ, and we said like, okay, well, why do I not DJ and just try it and produce like house music?
Okay.
And then I thought, okay, let's just try it. And then it took me like 6 months to get into house music, and back then it was progressive house that I was listening to a lot, like Avicii, Swedish House Mafia,
Okay. Got you.
that type of music. And then in November 2014, I released my first song under my name, Topic.
Wow. Yeah. Nice.
And
Nice.
she, like my friend, she put it. She has a very big YouTube channel, and she put it in her travel vlogs back then. That's where I got my first, like, say, like marketing or attention.
Yeah. And exposure.
Yeah, exposure. Yeah.
Wow,
Right.
cool, man. All right, great. So I appreciate you sharing that. Now I want to talk a bit about the work ethic itself, because as like an aspiring DJ producer myself, I'm always curious, like what type of time and hours and sacrifice and discipline are people practicing in order to put them on like a high level of success in the industry? So if you could give us an idea, so let's say you told us about your entry point into music, you told us about the beginning of exposure and making some money and stuff. When things started getting like really serious and you were like, whoa, like this isn't like a dream or something far-fetched, I really can envision myself going far in this. What type of like daily disciplines and practices were you applying with the music production itself?
I'm a very unstructured person.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no sleep schedule and,
Oh, wow.
and all that stuff. That's why I
Okay.
have to go to places like this from time to time
Okay.
to relax and come
And
down.
reset.
Yeah, exactly.
Got you. So now I'm curious, like,
Yeah.
okay, so that being said, like I had one guy that I interviewed like 2 weeks ago, and he was like, bro, like Monday to Thursday, I'm up at 8 o'clock eating my coffee. By 9 a.m., I'm on the laptop for like 3-4 hours. I do that 4 days a week minimum. For you, if it's a bit more free flowing and organic, what did that look like for you? Were you like just locking in for like 48 hours, no sleep, and a couple days off? Or like, what did it look like for you?
Yeah, in the beginning, when I started, I was like super motivated because I also had pressure, like, because, you know, I mean, my first releases, they were doing kind of good. So I could afford a living with that, but it was not like for the long run that it could last.
Right.
So it's really like any free time, no matter if it's like in the morning or at night, I was just working and trying to improve my sound production skills.
Got it.
Watching tons of tutorials and just messing around and trying to improve.
Wow. Did you have any like music mentors that you worked with one-on-one or anything?
I would say my mentors in the beginning were just YouTube tutorials, basically.
Wow. Crazy. What a
helped
world
so
we live
much.
in, honestly.
Yeah.
Nuts.
And then like 2014, I released my first song, and 2016, 17, I started going to LA, Sweden, and London a lot to work with different songwriters.
Okay.
And there I also learned a lot from different songwriters, and because their approach is so different to my approach back then. I was just like usually having a song that is done, like the vocals, and then I produced it until it's done.
Yeah.
And with those songwriters, they are so much more musical than me. Then you start a song from scratch, and it's more musical in the beginning to just come up with a nice demo and good songwriting, and then I usually take the song home and finish the production there.
Okay, nice. Nice, cool workflow. Another thing I'm always curious about too is what has it been like in terms of sacrifices and things you've had to let go of and pass up on to put yourself on this level? Like, were there nights, can you recall, where it's like, yo bro, come to this party, come on this trip for 2 weeks, and it was at like a pivotal or important time in your career and you were like, nah bro, like I gotta stay home, I gotta stay locked in? Could you tell us a bit about some of like the sacrifices and disciplines that maybe you had to implement to continue giving you consistent success?
Yeah, especially when my DJ career, like the touring career, when that really took off in 2022, basically all my weekends were gone, especially in summer. And usually in summer you have, I don't know, weddings or birthday parties of friends and holidays.
Yeah.
And I missed out a lot on that, definitely. And even like holidays, like sometimes I was in Ibiza and just for a day to play a show.
Yeah.
And then friends of mine stayed for the whole week, and I just had to fly out again to go to the next show.
And you felt that, right? Like you were like, whoa, like this is really work. Yeah. I feel like there's perhaps a skewed perception or even like a misunderstanding of what this DJ life is all about. Like I think there could be a lot of, I don't want to assume or judge, but I think it's safe to say that there's a lot of aspiring artists that may look at successful artists and think, whoa, this guy's made it, he's chilling, it's not that tough, he's just traveling around, all this stuff. But like, I'm sure there's like family time, important events that maybe you've missed out on, or certain things, positive and cool experiences that maybe you didn't get to do because like you're on the road, like it's a job. Like, yeah, you're around palm trees, Ibiza, and girls everywhere, and it's like a wild ass party, but it's like you might get it for a fraction of the time that someone's that's there for a week to chill out and just enjoy the holiday.
I mean, that's definitely a downside, but I'm always like, there's so many good things about it also. That's why I'm always a little bit careful to like, not that I like, how to say, like to put the negative side too high, like,
sure,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
It's like, obviously, like you miss out on a few birthdays or weddings, but sometimes you also have people, like I remember nights in Ushuaia when I played, I don't know, with David Guetta. I had 15 friends of mine coming to that show, and we chilled backstage and had a lot of fun, and it was just like an unforgettable night.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's like there's always something bad and something positive, but yeah.
Pros and cons. And I appreciate you sharing that too. I guess my point when I was sharing that too is that I just like to put a bit of an emphasis on the fact that, again, you're not an overnight success. It's like over 10 years of releases. This is like real work, real commitment, and real discipline to achieve it. So I just like to put a little bit of emphasis on that, so that the people that are up and coming realize that like it's not a joke, like it's a job. Take it serious and have fun too.
I think the health factor is very important, because
I love that you want to touch on this.
Yeah, because especially when it really started after the pandemic, also it was just like 2 years of doing nothing.
Yes.
And then also before the pandemic, I was already touring, but I was mainly doing shows in Germany, let's say 20 to 30 a year.
Yeah.
And then I had the success with Breaking Me, and I was just at home 2 years, and then the world opened up again, and I was doing like all these crazy shows.
Yeah.
I was really like enjoying it and doing every after show party. And after like 2 years, I was really feeling it.
Yeah. Well, dude, let's spend some time on this, because it's actually a thing that I don't know what the right word is. I guess I could transparently say struggled with as someone that works in nightlife. A lot of times it's difficult to separate the work and the play.
Yeah.
And actually I had like a mentor that I was working with recently, and I told him something. He said I should not forget this, because I said something to the effect of, I used to go out like on a Tuesday, for example, with Miss Fish and say, I'm going to a party and I have some work to do, but then I shifted my mindset to say that I'm going to work and there just happens to be a party going on.
Okay.
Just a shift in mindset, because it's so easy to get caught up
Yeah.
and fall into the temptation of the night.
Mhm.
So could you tell us a bit about maybe some challenges you faced and perhaps some things that you've done to help balance that? Because it's tough work. This can be, for sure.
Yeah,
2 years, nonstop touring, nonstop after parties. I'm curious how you've been able to manage it.
I mean, that's a good concept to say, like, I'm going to work and there's a party.
Yeah.
I'm always a bit cautious to call it work because it's such a passion that I don't want to.
Oh, I love that.
That I don't want to fuck with it to call it work and
right.
stuff.
That's
but maybe
important too.
Maybe it's good in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't want to say I struggled with, but it's just like you go to these places, like let's say Miss Fish, your party. Like for you, it's every Tuesday, right?
Yes.
And for most of the people there, it's like maybe they're the party of the year for them, and they go like absolutely nuts on it, get like bottles of tequila, pour it, and you know it is.
Yeah.
And then it's fun, and if you do it, it's also fun, and then you get caught up with it sometimes, and you have to be cautious to not like get sucked into it, I guess.
Yeah. So would you say it's just a matter of self-awareness, listening to your body, saying no sometimes,
and
being selective?
Last year in October, I came here, and that's also when ADE was happening. I had an event there, or I should have had an event there, but I was just so tired of 2.5 years of nonstop touring and partying. I said like, okay, I'm just gonna cancel everything for the end of 2024.
Wow.
Just come to Bali and chill.
Nice.
And even here I got sucked into it. That's how we met.
Canggu, bro. It'll grab you and just hold you. It's crazy.
That's why I think when we met, I came to Bali and stayed like 3 or 4 days in Canggu. And that's when we met. And then afterwards, like, just
getting the hell out of here.
Get here.
No, it goes to the quiet resort here at Istana where you can't even have your phone out.
Yeah, that was so helpful.
Yeah,
for sure.
Nice.
Also now, just like the summer is looking crazy again, and then I found like, okay, end of April I'm gonna have 10 or 12 days off. So why not go to Bali and chill?
Yeah, of course. Nice, man. Well, we're grateful you're here. So happy you did this with me. Talking a bit about your discography, as we mentioned earlier, your first release, 2014. I mean, dude, it's crazy to think about it, but this success thing, when they say overnight success, like it really is a joke, because if your first release was 2014, we're talking over a decade of consistent quality releases to put you at this point now. There's a few things I want to talk about in this category of speaking about your discography. Like, I've seen you work with smaller labels. I've seen you release with bigger labels. I've seen you cross over in multiple genres, most recently Afro House. First question I have is, if you had to like describe what you would call the Topic sound, what would you say it is now? Like what lane do you think you're swimming in?
There was a certain point when I also thought about it, like what genre am I doing actually? Because I'm switching a lot, and especially from 2015 to 2020, I was changing so much, like future-based Latin music, deep house, EDM. It was just like so much.
Yeah.
But then I felt like the only thing which is always there when in my songs is like some melancholic vibe. So
yes.
At a certain point, I was just saying like, okay, I'm doing melancholic dance music. Like it can be Afro house, it can be deep house, it can be melodic techno. Like the most important thing for me is just like the songwriting, the melodies and the lyrics. They have to be a little bit melancholic.
Yeah.
It's funny, like even when I listened to my first hip hop beats that I've done, they were all just like melancholic with piano and like strings in it. And so you would rap on it in a melancholic way.
Yeah, no, I love that, because it gives yourself an identity for what you represent as an artist, sonically speaking, but then it also doesn't box you in, right?
Exactly.
Like it's not like saying, oh, I'm an Afro house producer, or that guy only does EDM. A question I have, when you were jumping around from different genres, did that have any negative impact on your career at all? Because the cool thing with this podcast is that I've interviewed producers, DJs, talent managers, booking agents, and I've heard one thing that one guy said was that you should try and find one lane and stay in it, meaning one genre, because when the bookers, if you want bookers to be interested in you, they need to know what sound that they're going to be having at the venue to be played. And by jumping around, it could make it uncertain or unclear what you represent as an artist. So again, my question, was there any negative impact for you jumping around in different genres at all? Or
I would say, because in the beginning, when I started in 2014, like it's funny that up until this point, I never DJ'd in my life. I didn't even try it.
Right.
I don't know how it works. I didn't know how it works. And
Yeah.
like no interest in it at all. I was just even like listening to Avicii or Swedish House Mafia or Alesso. I listened only to the songs. I never listened to the sets, and I didn't care about it at all because I was just like, my biggest passion still is like to create music. And back then I was also so afraid to even like imagine to be on stage.
Right.
I didn't care about that.
Yeah.
And then in 2015, 16, I had a song which went very well. It was called Home. That was more like in the deep house world, I would say. And then people approached me and said like, okay, you should DJ and you should do shows. Like everyone who's doing like this type of music is also a DJ. And I was so scared of it. And I was like, no, I can't do it, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I was convinced to it, and I started learning it. And back then, for some reason, I was doing deep house, but when I did the DJ sets, I started playing EDM. And then I already struggled because some bookers booked me for the song Home, and they thought I was going to play deep house. And I was playing in like small, cool venues, and I was just like blasting it with EDM music.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the connection, and to be honest, I also didn't have the passion for DJing back then.
Right.
Because I wasn't good at it, and I was just like still discovering like the sound that I was gonna play. Crowd reading, I didn't even know what it is back then.
Wow.
And it took me years to get into it, actually.
Right.
So from 2016 to 2020, I was just like learning to DJ, basically.
Wow. So you just kind of just jumped in it.
Yeah,
It's like jumping in the pool, not knowing how to swim, figuring it out.
It's like mostly, I feel like mostly DJs start DJing for a couple of years, and then they realize, okay, I actually need to have records and put records out. But, but for me, it was the other way around. I was just like releasing, and then I realized, okay, I should also learn how to DJ. And
why not?
Yeah, and then it took me a very long time to like find my sound, and also to play good DJ sets, or even to know what is a good DJ set. Like I remember, I don't know, in 2017, 18, or like earlier in my career, I went to festivals and friends say like, okay, this or that DJ played a really nice set. And I was like,
what does that
mean?
Okay,
what does it even mean? Like, and now I get like, okay, the flow, and like read the crowd, what do they like, and
making a journey going up and down, not just nonstop bangers. Yeah.
And also like to adjust the sound in the set. Like now I do like melodic techno mixed with afro house, and
beautiful.
It depends a little bit like how melodic techno you can go. Like, does the crowd like it? And like 2 years ago, when I played more festival sound, I sometimes mixed in like harder techno. Yeah. And then I didn't care if the crowd would like it or not. I say like, okay, now it's the techno phase, and then I played.
Will listen to techno now.
Yeah.
Take it.
The people were like this, and I just didn't care. And now I'm just like getting a lot better in it, and
cool.
It's a fun journey also. Like
of course. Yeah. Amazing, man. Bro, again, coming back to this whole mindset and motivation thing, there's one thing I want to ask, because it's on my mind. Like, I'm just thinking about your story, your journey, the levels of success you've had. So like when you hear that you've acquired over 1 billion streams, when I sit here and roll out your accolades like gold, platinum, diamond, 5, 10x, all of this stuff. When you think about your upcoming touring schedule and everything that you have on your mind and that you envision for yourself on a day-to-day basis, maybe this is like a bit of a deeper spiritual question. Like, what's your mindset? Like, what's your energy like? How are you feeling? How are you carrying yourself? Like, to give an example, like a lot of people I talk to that are super successful, they just wake up feeling grateful, excited for life. What's Topic's energy like when he wakes up and goes about his day?
Oh, good question. Like I said, I'm very unstructured. I just go with the flow. Like I
Nice,
wake up.
organic.
If I don't have to wake up, I don't put an alarm or have a routine. Maybe I'll change that, or maybe I should change that.
Maybe
But
not though.
maybe not.
Look where you're at.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But in terms of my music career, like what we just talked about, like I was jumping around a lot, and it works on the record side, because I think radios or Spotify playlists, they don't care if I do afro house now or dubstep tomorrow. Like
True.
If there's a good song, they just put it in.
That's a great point.
But what you say, like the bookers or on my DJ side, that I wouldn't say it struggled, but it didn't help that I jumped so much.
Okay, got you.
But this is something where I'm focusing on now, that it should all make sense, and that in like a year or two, people who say like, okay, Topic is playing, that they know what's gonna be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that, but then I think of like an artist like Diplo, and when you go see Diplo play, like, bro, you could be hearing anything, like the latest Afro hit from Shimza or Black Coffee, or like something super EDM, big room.
I also don't want to like go too much in one lane. I don't want to go like full on Afro house now.
Yeah.
And just be that guy. But Diplo is a good example of who is like I would say like a role model, or like where I could imagine myself. But this is gonna take another decade, I think, to have that status that he has.
That you can do whatever you want. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's a great point. It's a great point. I was curious, bro, when it comes to like inspirations and things that are motivating you from a creative standpoint, what makes you want to sit down and work on a record? Do you hear something like another song and it gives you an idea? Do you ever get ideas when you're just chilling, for example, at the Istana in Bali? Like, what inspires you to want to sit down and start a record?
It can be very different things. Like in terms of songwriting, I write most of my songs with A7S. That's a guy who sang Breaking Me.
Yes, yes.
We also wrote I Adore You together. And I have on my YouTube page, I have a video where I go through the whole process of I Adore You. And
I watched it recently.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, cool.
And the very first demo was actually just him and me.
Yeah.
Just like vibing around. And it's just, we had a date to meet in the studio.
Cool.
And while he was on the way, I wasn't prepared and I didn't have anything. I was just like, okay, let's put on some chords and some like sounds in it. And then I did the very first shell of the instrumental of I Adore You.
Wow.
And then he came in and freestyled a few melodies. He's always like, I put on an instrumental or like even just some chords. I give him this mic and he just starts freestyling some stuff.
And this was the beginning of a huge record.
Yeah, that's the beginning of it. And that's usually how I prefer to work. Like, just like create like a little instrumental or like a little beat and then go from there.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful, bro. I was just thinking now, a bunch of clips I've seen on Instagram. Clearly you're someone that likes to collaborate, and there's a lot of power in collaboration. And I see a bunch of cool videos of you chilling with the laptop with Dicom, for example, or other artists and building that. This leads me to want to discuss a little bit about the whole concept of a good social media presence in online marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, as important as music is now, it's like you can make a hit record and it can just sit in the basement if you don't know how to put yourself out there properly via social media.
Exactly.
You do an exceptional job at that. Your content, super top quality. I mean, these videos that are as simple as just chilling with a laptop, dancing around with your homie, they look like cinematic. They're in sick locations, the color, the contrasting, everything's really on point. All that being said, you must be intentional and you must put some thought process into how you want to market yourself on social media. Could you talk a little bit about this whole music and marketing thing and how you put yourself out there?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I really hated it in the beginning. And
Oh, no way.
Oh yeah, I was just like, I started music because I want to do music. And
Yeah.
I also didn't care about fame in the beginning. And to be honest, I still don't like to be the, how you say it, the center of attention in the room. I still feel like a little bit, it's easier with a few shots of tequila.
Yeah. Everything in life is.
Yeah, it's true. But still, I feel like marketing is getting more and more important. And
Yes.
I didn't put much attention to it. That's also maybe why when we first met, you didn't recognize me. Like you knew the song "I Adore You," but you didn't know I was on the record.
Yes, yes.
So all this stuff happening, I was really like, okay, I gotta put more attention to it. Not only to create good music, but also to put myself out there a lot more. And then I have a great camera guy who's also doing my social media.
Okay.
And we are just like now. He's coming to every show of mine, setting up cameras, multiple cameras on the set, recording the whole set, and we are just posting a lot more than what I used to post. Like
Very consistent.
in the first 2 years, I sometimes didn't even post videos from my shows. It was just like a couple of pictures and that's it.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna put out a lot of more video stuff.
Right.
And that's the next time I go in a club and my song is playing, the people hopefully gonna recognize me.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think it's a common thing. Like producers and the work involved is in the shadows.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So the whole idea of going from not being seen to putting yourself out there, I can understand the discomfort with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, it's also like a fine line between it being very cringe. Like, for example, in 2020, when Breaking Me blew up on TikTok,
yeah,
it blew up with like these weird challenges, like people doing challenges with the song, and I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not gonna do a weird challenge and like how many apples you can eat in 20 seconds or stuff like that.
Oh, I didn't know. I have to check it out. That's crazy.
Yeah, like I can't remember which challenge it was. I think like something with dogs or some weird stuff like that went this like made the song viral like in the beginning. But now it's like kind of nice because it's more musical. Like even though like taking the laptop and being on a nice view, previewing the song is a little bit cringe, but it's still like it's just about the music, and not about me doing a weird dance or like whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of grateful for that TikTok works like this now. That like a video, me holding the laptop and previewing the song works.
Yeah.
And obviously the show videos, that's like really good. Because that's like really me presenting as a DJ, the sound I play live, and also that's gonna help with the promoters. Like they're gonna know what sound they're gonna get.
Yeah, and this guy knows how to rock a crowd. Nice.
Exactly.
Cool, man. Before I go to some of like the ending questions, and speaking of holding the laptop playing music, we're lucky enough today that Topic is down to show us some snippets of some cool demos. So if you're down, I'd love you to show us a couple things that you're working with.
Let's get the laptop.
Yeah. So are these are obviously exclusives that haven't been released?
Yeah.
Are they on the calendar to come out this year?
Yeah, we don't have a date yet.
Oh, okay.
The first song I'm gonna show you is with Daycam actually, and I posted a snippet already on TikTok, and it's looking
people going
very
crazy?
Good.
Yeah, the feedback's been good.
The feedback is very good.
Wow, you guys have an incredible synergy working together.
Yeah,
wow.
It's very good. He's a great guy. He's so talented, and it's just so easygoing to work with him.
Yeah,
it's like
nice.
You just go in the studio, vibe a little bit, and you have the song.
Cool.
And
cool.
That's what I love, because it's just like, then it doesn't feel like work. It's just fun.
Yeah,
like
exactly. No, you're really living the dream.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Exactly.
Nice, dude.
Okay, let's play it to you.
emotions I want face to face.
Wow.
Right here, right now, with no good delay. Down for whatever it takes. I lie. I gotta be honest. You're my sweet dog. Baby, I'm making a promise. I'ma keep you close. Hope that you never go doubt it. I swear it all on my soul. You're my desire. Please don't go too slow. Put your body on my body, 'cause we all need somebody. Your body on my
I heard this on
body.
Instagram.
Need you
Nice.
for
Sick.
life. Yeah, your body on my body, 'cause we all need somebody. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. I need you for life. Yeah, your body,
Yeah,
you gon'
Wow.
put me in my feet.
Another
Like
hit
it?
alert, ready to go.
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
Man, I was just thinking at the beginning of the episode, you told us you have no formula for making hit records. Clearly, he's got one now. You put Topic,
Sure.
Dicom, a sick Afro house groove,
Yeah.
nice melody, nice percussion. You guys got it down to a science
true.
now. Wow, that's great, bro. Like I said, it's really cool synergy that you guys have working together. Clearly, it's working. And I'm a big believer that when you find momentum, it's like surfing like the waves in Uluwatu. When you catch the wave, just ride it as long as you can and
Yeah,
make the
man.
best work you possibly
yeah.
can.
Yeah,
Wow.
believe in that too.
Cool.
Yeah, sometimes labels are a little bit like with DJs cautious in having the same vocalist multiple times on songs, but
Yeah.
I'm always totally for it. Like
Yeah.
I've done it with A7S 4 times. We have 4 releases together, and now with Daycam is going to be the 3rd one we are doing. I just love it to have the same vocalist a couple of times. Like
Yeah, why
I
not?
don't get the point in changing it all the time.
Yeah, well, because it's like if you were able to sit alone and keep honing in and cultivating your craft and make yourself better and giving yourself that time to grow as an artist, if you sit there and work with someone one time, but then you keep working together more and more,
Yeah.
the chemistry, the friendship, the working relationship, it just continues to grow and the
Yeah,
songs get better
exactly.
and better. So
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing, man. Well,
Yeah.
bro, 2 more things I want to cover in this episode. I want to take a moment to acknowledge you. All of this has kind of just come together for me. And one thing I've realized with you is that maybe we laugh about it and we say that you wake up whenever you want to and you work on your own schedule. But as you've approached this industry, you've just done what you wanted to do. People have said you should stick to one genre and stay in that. You didn't do that. You've jumped around and just did your own thing, to simply put it. Did your own thing and carved your own way to find success. So I want to acknowledge you and say respect and congratulations on everything
Thank you so
you've
much,
done.
man.
And the last question that I like to ask everybody at the end of the episode. So if you can imagine when you're back in that small town just outside Dusseldorf, you're just getting going, big dreams of going international and having massive success. Fast forwarding to 2025, where our phone's an extension of us, social media and the internet is everything. It's like if you don't have this considered into your career, you're just gonna sit on great music. All that being said, if you could give yourself 3 pieces of advice now in 2025 that you think it would take to go from being a local DJ and producer to going international, what would a few of those gems be?
I would say stick to it, because I had many phases in my career where it wasn't going so well. Like for example, between Home and Breaking Me, there was like 3 years of like very struggling releases.
Okay.
Didn't go that great, and I changed my label 3 times in that period. Because I also had bad luck with like bad people working on the label, and like some sort of fights and arguments. And I mean, I stick through it, but there was definitely times, a couple of months, where I was like zoning out a little bit and saying like, oh, fuck this whole shit. And
Yeah, I feel you.
And another thing is, don't listen to negative like voices. Like I remember one guy in 2014, before I released my first song, he came to me and said like, just stay in the background. You're not the guy for the big stages, and stuff like that. And couple of years later, he actually wanted to sign me again. he worked for a major label, but I think he also lost his job and stuff like that.
Man, got what
But
he
it's
deserved.
it's hard, like when someone's saying that to you, to not get it to you.
Dude, yeah.
And another thing, let me think of a third one.
Yeah.
Just allow yourself to dream big, I would say.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, because sometimes I even limit myself in dreams. Like I was like, okay, if I think about playing Tomorrowland main stage, this is too big. And then fast forward now, it happened to me. And this is definitely something like now, maybe I should just like dream really big.
Wow, love it. So stay consistent. Don't listen to the negative people. And don't limit yourself with your dreams.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, love it.
Cool.
What can we say, guys? We're in Bali. We're at the Istana. Life's good. Sick interviews. Great content always coming. Appreciate you guys watching. brodienero.tv. If you're not yet, what are you doing? Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode. Much love.
See you guys.